I'm going to make a really easy, tasty sweet potato bread. That the main problem with making this bread is you eat it all in one go because it's so delicious. So just beware of that. I'm not encouraging you to do that. So yeah, so basically I'm just going to really quickly run through how you make it. So I have a sweet potato here. It's an organic one, it's medium sized, and I baked it in the oven until it was really squidgy and soft. But you could actually, if you preferred, you could steam it, so you don't have to bake it in the oven. So I sometimes use a food processor when I'm making this bread, but today I'm going to make it just simply by hand. For those of you who don't have a food processor, I want you to show you that you actually don't need one. So I'm simply going to, I've got my sweet potato here, and I'm just going to mush it with my forks. So that's what the food processor would do, and basically I'm as good as a food processor. Sweet potato is such a nutritious food. It's a complex carbohydrate, which means it's going to give you longer lasting energy. So that is something that we're all after. And it's also high in beta and alpha carotene, which the body needs to make vitamin A from. So that's stopping the fact for the minute, as I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I've mashed my sweet potato, and I'm now going to add in buckwheat flour. So buckwheat flour is not a gluten. I don't eat gluten, and I find that a lot of people that I work on a one-to-one basis with don't get on well with gluten. So I'm going to add, it's 110 grams, but we'll put the recipe up, so don't worry too much. Basically, if we don't have a really healthy, balanced gut flora, then gluten can be a big problem. Because we haven't got the bacteria, and we haven't got the enzymes, and we haven't got the stomach acid that we need to digest it. So then we end up with lots of abdominal problems and bloating and constipation and diarrhea and all the other things that come along with that. So I find a lot of people, they don't really get on well with gluten. So, I tend to sort of tell people to steer clear of having much of it. So I've added the buckwheat flour, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of flaxseed. You could use chia if you preferred. I haven't used chia personally, I always use flax, but I don't see any reasons because it's sort of there to make it bind together. And then I'm going to add a quarter of a teaspoon of this gluten-free bicarbonate of soda. And I always buy this brand Dove's because it's a gluten-free brand, so that's what I prefer. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice into my mixture, and I'm just going to mix it all around. So you just can see how easy and quick it is to make. Now the only thing I've not done, being live, I should have prepared this, is I haven't got a little bit of water at the side. So I'm just going to actually add a little bit of water to the mix, just to help it bind together. You can really sort of tell, how it's going with the binding. To be honest, I often don't weigh out any of the ingredients. I just sort of add, and when you've made this a few times, you'll learn the type of texture that you need, so you can see from that. I'm going to show you in a minute that it's going to go to a nice dough. And then today I'm going to sprinkle some pumpkin seeds into my bread. You can sprinkle whatever seeds you like in there, but I've got pumpkin today, so I'm just going to mix those into my bread like so. And then I'm going to get my hands in there, and I'm just going to move all my mess out of the way that you can't see, fortunately. Sweet potato is also a really good source of vitamin C, E and K, and B vitamins. It contains some B vitamins. It's a good antioxidant, so it's really good for our immune system and anti-inflammatory. I personally think it also tastes delicious. And if we use the skin, which I didn't today, but I would if I had an organic potato and I was doing it in my food processor. But I just really wanted to show you how easy it is to make, you know, without a food processor. So there we go. So there is my dough, and here I have a baking tray. Just push everything to the side, and I'm just going to simply pop it onto my tray like so. It's pretty good shape already. I tend to always do this type of shape, but to be honest, you could do what you wanted. I think to keep sort of a similar thickness, which is probably about an inch. I'm not the best on measurements, but yeah, probably about an inch. And then before it goes in the oven, you want to score it into your slices, really. So I generally do it quite thin because, like I said, I end up eating it all too quickly. If there's 2 or 3 of us eating it, I'll just leave it out. If it's just me, I might, you know, pop a little bit in the freezer. So that is basically it. That is ready to go into the oven, and it goes into the oven for about 40 minutes. I always check on it at about 35 minutes. But you know, you can tell when it's cooked. But I'm going to show you because I have one that I baked earlier this morning. And here it is. So this one is ready. It's all lovely and baked. Just put my non-baked one out of the way. And then I'll just show you how easy it is. So actually, I'll get the oven club so I don't burn my finger. So I'm just going to cut some of my lovely delicious bread. Okay, so there's the bread. And what I like to do, you could actually serve it with anything. Really, you know, what you prefer. Sometimes I'll have it with some hazelnut butter on it. Sometimes I'll have it with avocado. Sometimes I'll just have it on the side of a salad. You know, really whatever you like. But also I love to drizzle a little bit of coconut oil on. And delicious.